Well, hello, I'm live at the National Honey Show 2025. We are delighted to have you here. If you're popping on over, there are lots of car spaces available and you can get your membership on the door. I'm joined by Enid, who is judge's referee. Enid, how are we feeling about the show today?
Oh, the show has been excellent. We've got record entries this year, over 2,600, which is 100 more than last year. So I'm absolutely delighted, and the standard is very good. So we can take you around some of the exhibits and just let you see what we have.
That would be lovely. Yes, please.
So we start here with a display class, and I think the displays are always amazing. The amount of work, a dedication that goes into a display, all the different types of honeys and the wax and everything, it's fantastic. So that's always a big sort of wow factor when people walk in the door, because that's one of the first things that they see. So we could move from there to another great big class, which is the 24 jar class. So there's no serious restrictions on the size of jar, but it's got to be 24 jars. They can have it in multiples of 3 or 4, but it's actually better if they have 24 jars of all the same type of honey, because that's when it's very hard to produce 24 perfect jars. So we have some very good entries in that. Unfortunately, there's a few here have not managed to come to the show, but we've got quite a lot up here. And as you can see, they can use different sized jars, but the main thing is that each jar has got to be of the same make, and the quality in each jar has got to be absolute spot on. So, and this is one of our winning entries. This one came third.
For those of our viewers who are not so familiar with honey, could you tell us why some jars are really dark and some jars are really light? How does that happen?
It very much depends on the forage. The lighter jars could be from Phacelia. Willow herb is even lighter than that. Where you go up to the darker honeys, you can get chestnut, sycamore, hawthorn, slightly darker still. So it very much depends on their nectar source and the time of year, places where the bees forage.
Thank you. And is there an age limit on who has entered? Are there certain ages that tend to enter more because they have perhaps more time on their hands, or do you have a wide variety?
There's really quite a wide variety of ages in the exhibitors, but we do have, these will be sort of older people probably, but we do have classes for juniors as well.
Brilliant, thank you. And if we move on here, are these still the 24 jars behind us?
There's 24
in front of us
jars. You see, this is a different type of jar. That's probably an Irish exhibit. They use a different style of jar.
Well, there are certainly a lot of jars of honey here. How long does it take to judge all of this honey?
For this class, I allocate 2 judges. So they start at either end and just keep working their way through. Each jar has got to be examined, opened, checked for aroma and flavour. And then they decide which is the best. They both discuss the best exhibit and confirm the winner after that. So We move up to this is another class where they've to produce a shallow frame of honey, 6 beeswax blocks and 9 jars, 3 different types of honey. So again, you really have to have quite a number of hives or a good location for the bees to be able to forage and get a variety of honeys like that. And to produce a very good frame, then you do need quite a strong colony and a good nectar flow. And that way they will draw out the comb and fill it and cap it beautifully. What the judge is looking for here is the frame should be sitting the cappings on the frame should be sitting slightly proud of the frame itself, and it should be capped and filled into all corners. So the 3 frames that we see here are very good.
Yes, I can see what you mean. They do fill the specifications quite well that you just described. Again, for our viewers who are perhaps not so familiar with honey, some of these jars, the honey looks very runny, but some of the other jars, it looks very firm. What is the difference with that?
The set honey, which is on the bottom row there, possibly oilseed rape. It's got a high glucose content, which means it granulates very quickly. And because it granulates quickly, it's got a very fine, very smooth granulation. The other jars are a run honey, different nectar sources, and if they're better presented as a run honey, if they were left to granulate, which all honey should do naturally, then the granules in them would be quite coarse. Some people are a bit concerned when they see coarse granules forming in honey, but it's just a perfectly natural process and absolutely nothing wrong with the honey itself.
So for those of our viewers who enjoy honey, if you have slightly grainy, gritty honey, it's a very natural process and it's nothing to be worried about.
Nothing to be worried about. They can heat it very gently and it will return to liquid.
That's good to hear.
Is not to overheat.
I see. So over here, we have a lot more honey. My goodness, could you walk us through some of these jars, please?
Right. We have a huge variety of classes across here. Where the run honeys are divided into 3 sort of categories, light, medium and dark. And for this lot, we have a medium class. But even in the medium class, you can see that there's a massive variety in the colours. And again, it's very much depends on the nectar source, the country as well, and where the bees are foraging. So we go from the medium honeys, we go down to the light class. So this is all the light class here, and we actually have grading glasses to determine the judge, if they're not sure, will check a jar against the grading glasses and make sure that it's in the right category. So we go from, that was medium first, light, and now we go down to 4 matched pairs of jars. So that's got 4 different types of honey. Each pair has got to be matching. So again, quite an art in being able to produce this.
Is there a reason that some jars are smaller, or is it just to do with how much honey has been produced that they want to exhibit?
The standard jar in a honey show is what we call a £1 squat honey jar. And it must have a gold lid. It can either be gold plastic, as in this case, or a gold screw lid here, but you can also get a gold twist lid. So these are all what we call £1 squat honey jars. This class is slightly different. It's from a charitable organisation, and 3 of the exhibits are from South Africa, which I'm actually delighted about because I've been out to South Africa 3 times and I've judged out there, and their honeys are particularly nice. Very different to what we have here, but they are very good honeys. And that's the reason that they're in different style of jars. There's not a ruling about the size of jar in this particular class. The main thing is that if somebody's interested in exhibiting, then it's so important for them to read the rules and the schedule before they enter. Here we've got 2 jars of set honey, and this will probably be mainly oilseed rape. And as I said earlier, it sets with a very smooth granulation, which means it's ideal in the set honey classes.
Thank you, that's very helpful to know. And over here, I can see that we've got some honey which looks like it has some fruit and some nuts in it. Could you tell us how that class came to be and the kind of rules that are applied to that?
Yeah, this is quite an art, preparing an exhibit in this class. It's a fairly new class that we've introduced, and as you can see, it's amazing, and I don't know quite how they have the time and patience to prepare an exhibit like that, because it really is. Some of them are just a work of art, but it's very interesting.
And it looks very tasty as well, definitely.
I'll bet they are, yes.
How long in general do you think that it takes to prepare for this kind of show? Of course, it's the world's largest honey show. Am I correct in understanding that?
Definitely. I've judged at a number of honey shows over the world, and I think I could easily say that this is the largest and the best honey show in the world. With over 2,600 entries, it's just amazing.
Wow.
But it takes time. You cannot rush preparing an exhibit for a honey show. And it's the reason we have honey shows. Well, it was originally started to improve the standard of honey presented for sale. And it moved on from there. But all the honey that you see here is pure honey. And sadly, a lot of the honeys in the shops, supermarkets these days have been adulterated.
So over here, we have some more jars of honey. Again, are these kind of jars just simply preference, or is there a reason that these jars are so different?
This class, people from all over the world can enter this class, and that's the reason that we have a variety of jars. Yeah, it just depends on what country they come from, what jars they use in that particular country.
I see. So, round here, we have a lot more honey jars. There are clearly different classes and clearly different varieties, but across the rest of the stand, are there any significant differences in why people have entered one and not the other?
We have these classes here are open to the world, so that's why we've got a huge variety of jars here. But we move round and we are moving into some of the open classes. So anybody can enter them. This is a dark class, which some of the dark honeys are absolutely delicious, especially if it's, say, bell heather or some of that. Here we move on to what we call chunk honey. Now this is where they put a piece of comb into the jar, so they've got to cut the comb so that it fits in neatly. It's got to be sealed, capped on both sides, and the bit of comb has got to be the right way up. So we can see here how the cells are just sloping upwards ever so slightly. So that's sitting the right way up. There's no pollen cells within that piece of comb. And then, of course, they have to put some run honey round about it. So that, again, takes quite a bit of time preparing that exhibit. You don't want pieces of wax floating to the surface or air bubbles in. So it takes a while.
When you say that the comb has to be the right way round, is that what you mean by not having wax floating to the surface, or is there another reason that it has to be one way and not the other?
It's the way the comb sits in the hive. In the hive, it would all the comb naturally, the cells slope upwards very slightly. So that's why this is quite a good example where you can see the cells are just sloping up gently, and that's to make sure that it's the right way up. That's the way the bit of comb would be sitting in the hive.
I see. So it's to mirror how it is in the actual hive. Yeah. We have some more honey here, and this looks, from my understanding, more set honey.
This is all set honey, yes.
Would you say it's perhaps oilseed rape or similar?
I would say predominantly oilseed rape here. That looks a bit darker. There's a possible, you can see in some of them how that's quite sort of granular, and that's what we want to try and avoid. So that will have quite coarse granules in it, whereas these ones will be very smooth.
Thank you, Enid. So, is honey the only thing that is exhibited here, or are there other things made with honey or made with things to do with bees that can be judged?
Oh, a huge variety. We have displays, shop displays. We have a huge variety of wax classes, with cakes of wax, candles. We have honey baking. We've got mead. We have photographs that have to do with beekeeping. Microscope slides as well. So, as I say, a massive variety of exhibits. This class here is jars labelled as for sale. So there are sales regulations, and it's very important that if somebody is selling their honey, that it complies with the regulations.
And over there, I can see that there are some large bottles. Is that large bottles of honey or something very different?
No, that's mead. Some are made with spices, some with apples, but the base is honey in all of them. So yeah, quite an art judging those classes. And I have judges allocated who are particularly good on judging meads.
Brilliant. And what are these honeys here? How are they different from the ones that we just saw back there?
This is just more of the different classes. Some of these will be, this is a National Honey Show members only class. So for some of the trophies, the points that you gain from entering the Honey Show classes go towards some of the trophies. A massive variety of trophies as well. It's an incredible display. Trophies for all sorts of things.
And where are the trophies kept, or should we not reveal where the trophies are kept?
I think they're under lock and key at the moment, but they will be put on display fairly soon.
That's very exciting. And there's a trophy awards prize coming up, is there?
On Saturday, there is an awards ceremony, yes.
So those of our viewers who want to know who won what prize, be sure to stay tuned into Saturday to find that out. Over here, we have some more honey. Enid, do you think you could tell us about these honeys here?
These are what we call county classes. Middlesex, Essex, Sussex. So the counties are allowed to enter, and there are trophies for the best counties. All the points that each county gains, they all work out towards a trophy. But again, we have quite a variety. There's 3 different types of honey. This is a medium class. This is a light class. This is a novice class, liquid or naturally crystallized. So it's 2 liquid classes there. Soft set. So there's a class for just about everyone, as novice right up to experienced. And some of the junior classes, there's a junior class round the other side, and absolutely delighted to say that it's a young 12-year-old from Scotland who won that class. He's absolutely delighted with himself.
That must be very exciting for him, and I'm sure he will continue to enter honey as he grows older, and perhaps he will be in the very adult competitive classes one day soon.
He's showing a lot of promise, and yes, he's right into making candles as well, so he's done very well.
So here we have some very dark honey. Is this the end of the honey, or is there more on the other side?
There's still more on the other side.
Goodness.
This is a National Honey Show class as well, so all the points gained in this go towards a trophy.
I see. So thank you for viewing this lovely walkabout with Enid. Enid, you are the judge's referee.
That's right.
What exactly does that mean?
I'm basically in overall charge of the judges. So the weekend prior to the show, I get a note of all the exhibitors, how many entries are in each class. So I've got to sit with all the paperwork and just work out what judges, allocate classes to the different judges, allocate stewards to that judge, and some of the stewards are working towards becoming a show judge themselves, so it's quite important that they go with somebody who will give them experience in a particular field. Some might be needing more experience in mead, maybe in candles, so we try and allocate them to to somewhere where they're going to gain more information.
Thank you, Enid. It's been an absolute delight to talk to you, and it's been very interesting as well to find out about all the different honeys. Those of you who are viewing us online, keep viewing. We've got loads more coming up. There's lots to hear and see about. If you haven't yet and you're planning to come over to the show, you can still get your tickets on the door. Don't worry, we won't turn you away. We're always welcoming more people in. This has been the National Honey Show live from Sandown Park Racecourse on the second day of the show, the busiest day of the show, of the world's largest honey show.